Rob, at the end of the day, we all know who the gay one is, so please just leave me alone.
Who is the gay?
He was getting paid to...
Sophie, what the?
No, it's triggering. It is triggering. Stop. Just stop. It's okay. It's okay.
He cannot keep doing this. I'm sick of it.
So we left Sophie and Rob in a weird situation. The pair had been sleeping together, flashing each other, still clearly very close, arguably even closer than when they were married, but they were getting a divorce. Like, the whole thing is messy, right? It's messy and there's a lot of mixed feelings involved. But it's about to get a whole lot more confusing when they bring out Sophie's best friend, Kay. Now, at first, Kay tries to be diplomatic.
Y'all both did good in the therapy. I feel like from watching The Resort, I saw a lot of growth on both sides.
So going into The Resort, did you want them to make it as a couple?
No.
Kay's right. Like, from what we saw, it really did seem like Sophie and Rob were making headway for a while there. I mean, Sophie really seemed like she'd had a breakthrough. She was beginning to work through past trauma about how her childhood, being raised by a drug addict's mum, affected her adult life. And at the same time, Rob was also trying to make up for the past. But for as good as all of that was, Kay still wasn't holding her breath. She still didn't see any real hope for them.
No, because y'all are gonna go back into that same toxic pattern and be miserable together.
And it definitely would be that with a friend like you telling her that that's what it will be.
Rob blames Kay for his failed marriage. Now, Kay was far too involved in Sophie's love life, but the fact is, Rob is using her as a scapegoat here. He can't admit his own wrongdoings. I mean, it couldn't have been him at fault for the breakdown of his own marriage. No, of course not. It must be someone else. It must be Kay.
The one that Rob ruined my marriage.
But here's an idea, Rob. How about acknowledging your own actions? How about acknowledging that your cheating and your aggression pushed your wife away from you? But he's just not capable of doing that. It's far easier to point the finger at Kay. And on top of that, the icing on the cake is the fact that Rob still continues to insinuate that Kay and Sophie were involved in a sexual relationship.
You literally said it like that we were having, I don't know, she could be Kay right now. And you
I
knew
know.
I was a very straight woman.
I don't know.
Rob, come on. You know damn well there's not... Please.
Why is that so difficult for Rob to accept? Like, what does she need to do to prove it to him? She says she's straight. She's straight. Like, there's no evidence. He's got no receipts to prove otherwise. But here's the thing, right? Rob knows that Kay acts like Sophie's little pit bull. He knows it's not going to take much to get her animated. And if he can do that, then guess what? She comes across as looking like the villain and he gets less blame. And it looks like his plan is working. You see, Kay's passion for Sophie, once again, is making her look bad.
If she is going into a war, I'm going to prepare and go in there with her. Like, it's not like...
You and that energy, going into war, this was me and my wife working on our marriage.
Now, in Rob's defense, I do kind of get what he's saying. Like, he's right. As a married couple, their issues should have been tackled by him and Sophie. They didn't need a third party. They definitely didn't need someone going into war and making him a villain in his own relationship. But, Rob, Kay isn't entirely at fault for making you the villain. You did that by yourself, by cheating. And as Kay actually hints, it wasn't only cheating. There's more to this story. In fact, it's very telling that numerous people in Rob's life keep posting about his anger issues.
People haven't really seen the true form of Rob and how bad it can really get. Stop acting like you are just so innocent.
I'm pretty sure people have seen me yell, people have seen me lose my cool.
No, they have not.
So, is this true Rob linked to all the accusations surrounding him and domestic violence? I mean, from secret videos in which Rob is filmed yelling at Sophie and physically intimidating her.
The more you off our relationship, the worse it's gonna be when you finally come home. You gonna have to eat some because if I was an asshole, I'd be whooping your ass right now telling you ain't going nowhere, my wife.
To claims that he caused her physical harm by pushing her into a table. I think we can understand why Kay is so defensive about her friend, especially when it's her that's always left picking up the pieces. It's always her apartment, that Sophie goes crying to whenever things go bad.
I mean, they came into my apartment and would argue, and so I can hear everything, and it's just like, I have actual video evidence of the way you acted.
But Rob and his own pitbull, his new best friend, Josh, claim that there's nothing sinister about him getting angry. And Josh, even though no one asked him, turns to Kay and tells her that she's the problem. Now, this is where we see Kay's anger levels really hit the roof. She's just not gonna sit here and take this. She's not gonna get ganged up on by these two of all people. Two men who seem allergic to taking any accountability.
Rob, at the end of the day, we all know who the gay one is, so please just leave me alone.
Who is the gay?
He was getting paid to...
Sophie, what the?
And there's that claim again. Now, I don't know why Jasmine's acting so shocked when earlier in the tell-all she was making all sorts of wild claims about Rob herself, but Sophie claims that Rob was paid $500 to, orally pleasure a man. And now this is starting to get very messy. But in quite a shocking twist, this time, Sophie claims that she has receipts.
Ever done that?
About why I left you.
That's a lie.
I have the
screenshots of some
but
random.
to see some screenshots.
You have shots of some random gay dude hitting me up.
Now, here's the thing, we've seen it firsthand. Sophie always claims that she has receipts, but they don't always prove the things that she claims they do. I mean, we saw it at the retreat, didn't we? She said that she had screenshots of Rob speaking to other women while they were at the retreat, and nothing ever came of it. The whole scenario was just dropped. So, I'm sorry, I'm gonna need a little bit more proof. What exactly is this screenshot of?
Is a screenshot a lie?
A screenshot of what? Of some random person sending me some.
I don't want to address it, but we can address it.
Leave it, drop it.
Yeah, just.
Now, Rob says that what Sophie saw was just some random gay guy in his DMs. That doesn't make it true, he says. Some guy sending me a message doesn't mean that I'm prostituting. And while I'm definitely not a fan of Rob's, I also don't trust Sophie's perspective. Like, if she really thought that Rob was having gay sex with strangers, why on earth would she restart a sexual relationship with him even after breaking up? It just doesn't add up. But things take an even more alarming turn when Kay leaves the stage.
Everyone ruined my marriage, but Rob.
Have you
Rob
ever
had
told?
no
Have you
say
ever
in my
told?
marriage.
No, I'm sick of it!
That.
Kay is absolutely losing her backstage. There's something about the way that Rob told her to f*** off as she left the stage that's absolutely triggered her.
I like your outfit.
Please off and never ever come
Don't
around
worry,
me
this is the
again.
last time I have to see you.
And the tell-all actually has to take a pause as Sophie goes backstage to check her friend is alright. Kay sounds uncontrollably emotional.
It's gonna make us worse. Don't just stop. It's okay. It's okay.
It's really hard going out there and having a lot of people come at you when they don't even really know the situation.
Look, if Rob really is this secretly terrible man that she's warning us about, then I get why it must be so frustrating for her to be painted out as being the bad guy by him. But this screaming is just way too much. Isn't it ironic? Kay's reaction to Rob is so blown up that it kind of reminds me of the way Rob acted towards Jasmine. Like, she's also furious about something that at the end of the day isn't even her relationship. Now, with Sophie trying to tend to Kay, Rob, by comparison, is busy trying to convince Josh that what Sophie saw is totally innocent. It's not what it seems, he says.
Some random dude did hit me up asking me to do which I was, and she picked up the phone. But that doesn't mean I've ever done anything.
Do I think that Rob was giving head for $500? No. But is it weird that these gay accusations are now cropping up from multiple sources?
It's true, Sean. I can show you the videos.
Well, yeah, like it does kind of warrant some questioning about what exactly Rob has been up to, doesn't it? Either way, Rob is now convinced that all of the female cast are out to get him. But is that true? I mean, we know he has at least one fan amongst the girls, doesn't he?
I'm on his side, but it doesn't mean we have to put him so terrible, you know?
Is there something you'd like to say to me? Because every time I leave a room, you're very disrespectful about me.
I'm so glad that Sophie calls Natalie out on this, because it's been so glaringly obvious all tell-all, hasn't it? Natalie's being so completely hypocritical. She's being so two-faced. One minute she's all sweet with Sophie, and then the next minute she's really sneaky and snide. I mean, prime example of that. Take the underhand comment that she made to Kay not long ago.
When she does something wrong, I'm like, bitch, you're wrong. Like, that was not
I
okay.
might not like Sophie, but I think you're cool.
Oh, I don't like that you don't like Sophie because that means I don't like you.
What was the point of her saying that and to her best friend? Like, what was Natalie expecting? Did she think that Kay was going to be like, ha ha ha? I mean, it just makes no sense. I don't know what goes on in Natalie's mind. But it wasn't the only time she did that. She did exactly the same thing again when, to her face, she was all nice to Sophie, but the minute she went to check on Kay, Natalie went running to Rob to back him up, to bitch about Sophie.
Yeah, you guys are so
I'm proud of you. This is just manipulation. You totally healthy, man. Congratulations.
Let's just go.
Sorry, Natalie, but this is embarrassing. This is precisely why you don't seem to have many friends. Like, now Kay is ignoring her, the girls are all pissed at her, and even Rob and Josh just pretend like she doesn't exist. And the fact is, when Sophie calls her out on her behaviour, Natalie just has nothing to say.
You had enough of I'm not gonna do it.
Why do you feel bad for a man that's treating you like because you don't like
doesn't
me,
mean he
because
has
you're
to-
attacking me every moment you're away on social media and behind my back.
Sophie has finally snapped. She's done with this hypocrisy. Now, I think to a very large extent, Sophie is taking out the anger that should be directed at Rob on Natalie. But at the same time, this is exactly what Natalie needs to hear. She needs to realise that while she thinks it might be fun and games, while she thinks it might be innocent flirting, actually there are very real consequences. Her actions are hurting people. Like, this is a real marriage that's just fallen apart. It is emotional.
I'm going through something very serious. I know you and Josh are in a real thing,
You
and he
understand
doesn't
what
want
he
you.
was
I'm
saying.
sorry, but like,
I'm
this
sorry.
is real.
Okay,
It's very
I'm sorry.
emotional for me, so shut up.
This is the first time that we've seen Sophie express just how upsetting this is for her in such a passionate way. I mean, normally with her, it's normally tears or reverting to acting like a child. But this time, she's actually expressing herself like an adult. And it really does feel like this time, for perhaps the first time, when she says that they're done, I actually believe her for a change.
As for you and Rob, where do you go from here?
our separate ways.
Yeah, I agree.
And with that, their segment on the show wraps up. But it's not over yet, because backstage, Sophie heads over to Rob's booth to have a private conversation. You see, she thinks that Rob crossed a line out there. But as for Rob, he's still pissed for what he sees as Sophie twisting the truth to try and paint him to be a gay escort. And while you might be forgiven for thinking they both have a right to be angry, because they do, it doesn't take long before, as usual, these two revert to doing what they do best. They start fighting about something completely unrelated, something completely meaningless.
He my first of all, so I'm not out here for money, and he offered me $5,000.
It was $500.
It was $5,000.
It was
I would not even.
$500.
It was $5,000.
I mean, to be frank, whether it's $500 or $5,000 is pretty irrelevant. A married man shouldn't be getting those sorts of DMs, and B, if he does, why is he entertaining them? Why is it not a straight delete?
So 500 for Jesus Christ, that's cheap. I will charge 1,000.
Again, none of this is particularly important. It doesn't really matter whether it's $500 or $5,000. But what it does show is that these two are in exactly the same place today as they've always been. They're in absolute hell. This marriage is so toxic, and they really, for both of their sakes, need to sign that paperwork, be done with this divorce, and stop being in each other's lives.